Hi everyone, Dawson from Business Depot Agency Broking. Just wanted to have a bit of a chat with you today because there's a fair bit of activity around selling rent rolls, and certainly from a buyer's perspective what's happening in their realm. I thought I'd give you a snapshot of what do buyers want. What are the buyers talking to me about that they absolutely want when they're looking at a really good quality rent roll within the marketplace. A couple of things I jotted on the whiteboard behind me. I threw them up there for you to have a read, but I'll go through them with you. The first thing that a lot of people buying at the moment want is quality staff. So if you're putting your rent roll on the marketplace and in the marketplace today, staff coming with it is a key criteria. Of course, those staff have the relationships with the landlords. What they're looking at doing when they purchase is coming and having quality staff come across as well, because what that does is continue the relationship. Certainly very good for you as a seller, because what it does, it helps in that retention period as well, but the buyers are certainly looking for a strong relationship. The second one is the location, becoming a big issue around Brisbane and greater areas at the moment on the coast, etc., that some rent rolls are spread far and wide. Buyers are looking for rent rolls now that are in fairly close proximity to the office, making sure that obviously their time management in relation to their staff and the staff hours out there doing the inspections, etc. They're not driving 30, 40, 50 minutes to go and have a look at one particular property. So the conglomeration, if you like, or the properties close to the office certainly adds a lot of value, and the buyers are definitely looking for that. The next one down is the landlord to property ratio. Bit of a warning here, obviously over time as rent rolls grow and you're putting it on the market, a lot of those landlords have got multiples. In other words, they've got 10, 12, 15 properties. That's all okay, and yes, it's saleable, but quite often what you'll find in the sales price situation, the buyers are saying, hey, I'm going to take a little bit extra retention on those because there's a higher risk, or the potential sometimes is that they're going to offer a lower multiple. So certainly a little bit of trepidation from the buyers around that landlord ratio. A vibrant marketplace. Obviously, if you're in a marketplace at the moment that's fairly active, there's a lot of rental properties there, but there's a lot of maybe employment in the area. If you're selling something and the buyers are saying, hey, I know that I'm going to get a tenant for that property pretty quickly if it becomes vacant, that becomes a big thing that the buyers are looking for at the moment. They're really excited about that fact of getting the additional income from letting fees. And of course, if it's vibrant enough, that does do it. The management fee. What they are looking for, of course, is a management fee that's relevant to the area and it's well structured and it's a fair management fee for that marketplace. Let's say it's sort of 8%, 8.5%, whatever it might be. They're looking at rent rolls and the statistics to see that they're maybe not managed at 5% or 5.5%, where the rent roll's been built in a very quick way and then potentially offloaded. They don't want to take on something that is a discounted sort of rate. So good, relevant management fees is very strong, and of course what that helps you do as a seller is to optimise the price as well in your average annual management income. The next one down is low arrears. Of course, they're not looking at a high amount of tenants in arrears, certainly above the 7-day mark and so on, and 15-day mark, and all the implications that come from that. And a lot of buyers will actually say is that if tenants are a fair amount in arrears, quite often they won't pay for those until those arrears are caught up. So that can affect sometimes the contract price and the final sale price that you might achieve. So let's make sure that you get those arrears in place. Low vacancies. Of course, they're not looking for a lot of houses in the area that are vacant at the moment. Again, make sure that you have some structure in place before you go to the market, because the buyers are wanting to take on rent rolls with very low arrears and also very low vacancies, as mentioned. The quality, really important one as well. What they don't want to take on is properties with high maintenance issues, a lot of older properties that require maintenance every 5 minutes. They're looking as well for quality landlords. And what I mean by that is that the landlord is prepared to make sure that they reinvest in the maintenance of the property. Okay, they don't want to take on a situation that may expose them to insurance claims in the future, maybe risk injury to their staff, etc. So it's really important to make sure that there's some quality. Good systems. In a marketplace today, some fantastic systems out there. Make sure that you're a very structured and systemised office, certainly staff driven, but supported by fantastic systems. So make sure they're in place, and that's both management systems, inspection systems and so on. That will really be an attractive thing, and the buyers are looking for that very much. Current authorities, here's a big one. You will really need to have, when you go to the market, your Form 6s in place. Previous authorities, yes, you can collect income from that, but when it gets to valuation as well as getting to the broker for the financing for the buyer's perspective, a lot of financiers now will not finance any properties that don't have a Form 6 in place. So if you have a lot of the previous 20s, make sure that you get those, get them onto a current Form 6, and you may need to work on that for a month or so prior to coming to the market, because then that becomes very, very attractive to the buyers. Make sure that you have a lease agreement in place on your premises, because quite often again, security of tenure for the buyers is something that they're looking at as well, both in a sales agency and a rent roll situation. So strong structure around that is good. And then your properties for sale. If you have a lot of properties currently on the market, and we're seeing that sort of where we've had reluctant landlords, I suppose, over a period of time, if there's a lot of properties that you have for sale in your business at the moment, quite often the buyers become a little bit jittery around that, because the rent roll can diminish fairly quickly after the retention period, and certainly after maybe 6-9 months of being an agent. Well, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to consider, a lot that we've discussed in those last 4 or 5 minutes that need to be taken into account when you're putting your agency or rent roll on the marketplace. What the buyers want, well, they're certainly looking for all of those things. That may require a further consultancy. I'm really pleased to be able to come out and help you with that, or give me a call at any time. I can give you some further advice, because there's even more than that to consider when it's required. You can contact me on businessdepot.com.au/agency broking, or a.dawson@businessdepot.com.au, and I look forward to seeing you and assisting you real soon.